Hello, everyone. We are going to give it just a couple of minutes before we get started on our WIKA University. I want to give everybody just a couple minutes to get time to get signed on and get settled in, so bear with us. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our WIKA University. We are doing the Exploring Industrial Pressure Transmitter Solutions with Chad Reinhard. And before I turn it over to Chad, I got a couple of housekeeping things to go over. We are recording the session, and you will get a link later on in an email that you can refer back to. We do have everyone muted, so if you have any questions or comments for Chad, you can just put those in the chat, and I'll make sure that he gets those. And that is all I have, so I am going to turn it over to Chad.
Sounds good. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining. I know Johnny said about the questions in the chats. Those are welcome. The comments, only nice ones are allowed, so keep that in mind. So just to highlight what we're going to do today, we're going to focus mainly on pressure transmitters today. I'm one of the product managers here at WIKA. Pressure transmitters are part of the portfolio that I manage. I'm more on the industrial side of the business, but do have some overlap into process oil and gas environments, which we'll touch on in a little bit. So for my products, it's pressure transmitters, pressure switches, industrial temperature. I have some of the fluidic properties. You'll see the gas density, liquid density, viscosity sensors, and a few others. But like I said, for today, we're going to focus on pressure transmitters, super high level overview of what the core differences are between the transmitters in our portfolio, common applications, and some special features that make the sensor unique in the market or unique in the portfolio. So we'll touch on that. To start, I always just like showing this screen just as a high-level overview of everything that WIKA has in their portfolio. So WIKA, from a measurement standpoint, is pressure, temperature, level, flow, force, fluidic properties, calibration equipment, engineered solutions, and accessories. Before I was a product manager, I spent almost 9 years in sales with WIKA. And every single sales call I went on, people were always shocked to hear something, right? Like, I didn't know you had flow, or I did not know you had calibration equipment. So just as a best common practice, I always start by showing this high-level slide. At least it served in the past as a good conversation starter to say, hey, I saw, in Chad's presentation that you had fluidic properties, and you can ask your account manager or regional manager for more information of what that actually means. For pressure transmitters, this is kind of the basics of what you need to be aware of. Anytime you work with WIKA and you go to quote a product or configure a product with an account manager or one of our salespeople or anyone in technical, they're going to ask you for these common things that you need to spec a pressure transmitter. So first off, obviously the pressure range is super important. And then the connections on both ends. So the electrical connection and the process connection, as well as your output signal. Those are things that we can't live without. What makes the sensor what you need it to be for your application? Accuracy I have on the core requirement list. It is kind of just a nice to have. We don't necessarily need to know the accuracy, but it's good to know just so if for reference, if you are crossing another manufacturer to a WIKA sensor, that's kind of the baseline of being able to tell what model within the WIKA portfolio would suit your needs. So if you come to us and you have an 1/8% accurate transmitter as an example, we know we need something that performs a little bit better than some of the more common industrial sensors. The true nice to haves are application requirements. So if you got an application that has particulates in it, or it gets really hot, or it's super corrosive, it's always good to understand what are some of the pieces of your application that may be difficult for a transmitter to handle. That way we can make sure that we spec the correct product. Of course, if there's any high volume attached to it, that way we make sure we get you the best price possible. And then, of course, the gold standard, if you have a price range you're looking for, that also just helps select the correct model, right? So if your budget's $100, we don't want to be specing some of the really high-end sensors. That would give us a good understanding that it's more a base unit. This is a little bit of an eye chart, and I know we only have 25, 30 minutes somewhere in there. I'm trying to allow for some Q&A. This I've spent as little as a minute or two reviewing, and up to I feel like I could talk about this for an hour or two. So I'll try to get somewhere in between here for today. This is kind of how any sales guy, any technical guy, product management here at WIKA, how you think of our sensor portfolio today. So just as I'm going through and I'm considering the information that is provided from the end user, this is how my brain categorizes our sensors. I'm aware that there's quite a few different models in our portfolio. It's just how the naming convention works. But for outsiders, just trying to simplify the portfolio a bit into categories. So level 1 is most common transmitters. Level 2, still common, but something unique about them, maybe not quite as standard in the industry as far as a baseline or a first level sensor that you would look at. And then level 3 is something pretty special about it, whether that's application driven or something technical about how the product was made. It was built for a very, very specific purpose. So just starting level 1, A10 is the most common transmitter that you'll run into here at WIKA. Comes in 2 different accuracies, 0.5%, 1/4%. Like I said, very general use. We'll touch on some applications later, but think hydraulic, pneumatic, the most common industrial applications that you could think of. Lots of different process and electrical connections. And the first sensor, right, that you think of when you turn to WIKA, it, 8 times, 7 times out of 10 is probably going to be an A10. The O10, again, very, very common, level 1 in my thought process. The difference between the A10 and the O10 is that the O10 is more suited for OEM needs, so it's a little more economical of a price point. It does have a 50-piece MOQ at the moment. but a product that we're looking to expand with here in the US. We're in the process of adding some US stock coming into next year, and we're also expanding the electrical connection offerings. We're adding some more automotive connectors to that project. So keep an eye out for that. Level 2, hopping down. So if the A10 is the very most common industrial sensor, the S20 is its big brother. So just think of the S20 as a higher performing A10. You do get that step up in performance. There's 3 selectable accuracy classes for the S20 going down to an 1/8 percent. It's got very, very low temperature error. So, generally speaking, if people come to us for, a few $100 sensor and the accuracy is stated, usually the higher the cost of the transmitter, it's directly reflective of it being able to do something special or it has better accuracy. So that's when the S20 comes into play for us. S11 is essentially an S20 with a flush seal on it. So instead of needing a full-blown diaphragm seal, say taking like an A10 and putting a WIKA diaphragm seal on it, the S11 has a seal built directly into the process connection. So a good product to turn to if you have any particulates. One application I can think of is actually in agriculture. There's people that make pumping equipment for manure, and that has a lot of particulates in that media. So just in order to have a protective layer between the media and the diaphragm or the sensor element, you got to protect the sensor internals, and a flush diaphragm S11 is one way to do that. Mobile hydraulics, pretty self-explanatory. This MH4 is the lead product that gets put into any hydraulic applications. HP2 is a very high pressure device, so you kind of start to see how the naming convention here at WIKA works. HP high pressure, that goes up to 217,000 PSI, so super high pressure. Generally, applications such as water jet cutting need very high pressure. Then the next 3 in this lineup are what I call the hazardous suite of products. So the E10, the IS3, and the N10. The E10 has E1X because the E10 can come in either a standard process connection with an orifice, or it could be a flush diaphragm, much like the S11, just explosion proof, right? So the E10 is class 1 div 1 explosion proof. The IS3 is intrinsically safe, class 1 div 1, and the N10 is non-incentive, class 1 div 2. And then you hop into, we have a portfolio of submersibles, and then taking one step down, you get into some of like the ultra special stuff. So you do see that we have an IO Link product. The P30 is the highest performing transmitter that we have in the standard WIKA portfolio. We do have another company called Mentzer, and some of their products get into better performance, higher accuracies, even compared to the P30, but the P30 is the gold standard within the WIKA portfolio. Think very high-end lab type requirements as far as precision goes. Medical gases, so if you're in anything that requires medically cleaned or medical gases or, right? Anything in the medical field that requires medical type approvals would be the medical gases, the MG1. We have a line of hydrogen, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Sensors built specifically for refrigerants, even keeping up with the refrigerants of today's markets as they change. We keep adapting the wetted parts material to keep up with that. So yeah, a little confusing, but in a nutshell, that's kind of the transmitters and a super high level overview. So I'm going to break this down into industrial and process. Those are kind of the core traditional markets that WIKA plays in. These applications that you see here, or these markets, are where we get the bulk of our business from. This is kind of the market makeup here at WIKA. So mobile working machines, machine building, that really captures a pretty big segment. Um, but yeah, we do focus on any of these industries. So if you're working in any of these applications, we do have solutions for you. And then we'll take one step deeper into some of the very specific markets. For us, placing the A10 and the S20 are the most common in these machine building and automation markets. You'll see some of the core applications that we consider to be machine building and automation. And it's vast, right? So this is kind of a catch-all market throughout all of the US, but things like hydraulics, pneumatics, compressors, pumps, those are the majority of them. But any of these applications are something that you would, generally speaking, turn to the A10 and S20 first as your most commonly placed product. What makes these sensors different from one another? So taking, a little bit deeper dive into these, I like just trying to show the difference because, again, I can appreciate that a lot of folks on this call work with many different manufacturers. Everyone has their own naming conventions and their own product portfolios, and it could get confusing, right, when you're working with many different sensor manufacturers, and it's just a lot to remember, right? So this slide is meant to just capture a breakdown of what makes our common industrial sensors different from one another. Like I said, just one level deeper than the previous slide. But again, the A10 is just the very general use. It's super versatile, right? So it's got 21 process connections and 11 electrical connections. So you can feel confident that whomever you're calling on or wherever you're going, we will have the connection on both sides of the sensor that fit your needs. Again, versatile from a pressure range standpoint. So you see we go from inches of water all the way to 15,000 psi. So again, very well suited to handle the majority of needs in the market. The S20, hopping over to the right-hand side, that's where you get into the higher performing compared to the A10. You'll see the optional accuracy, 0.125%, best fit straight line. High temperature options are available. It's got 9 different output signals, kind of a fun fact about it. So again, pointing to that versatility or being able to be placed in multiple markets. And it's got a very quick response time. So just speaking to the performance level again, it has response times up to 1 millisecond. S11, again, S20, basically with a flush seal. You can also get a integrated cooling element built onto this. So that would get you up to 302 Fahrenheit. Generally speaking, things like food and bev, et cetera, we do have FDA requirements. So we have FDA 21 CFR if you're in any of those applications. But again, really this is just meant to be a flush seal, so a little bit of a protective barrier in the event that the application calls for it. And again, the OEM unit, the O10, fun fact about this one, it has up to 500,000 variants as of today, and that's going to keep expanding. So pretty versatile from a configuration standpoint. The one difference that I'll note is the range. So you'll see that's a pretty big difference between the A10 and the O10. The O10 can only go down to around 100 psi. So just keep that in mind. You can't get down to inches of water vacuum levels with the O10 as it is built today. So that would be one core difference. Again, this is the product that we're looking to add 3 new connections. So you'll get more automotive style connectors, Deutsch 3, Deutsch 4, and an amp super seal, which we're super excited about. Hopping into another large market for WIKA, mobile working machines. So if you think hydraulics, any hydraulic pressures, hydraulic power packs, any sort of applications within ag, construction, um, municipality vehicles, that's what we categorize as mobile working machines. So you'll see tractors, harvesters, sprayers, planters, and we're embedded in all sorts of applications within those environments. So, just thinking about a tractor, you have a lot of hydraulic power. Sprayers, you have fertilizer lines that, a lot of liquid fertilizer lines. So we monitor the pressures of those lines and actually control how much fertilizer comes out of the nozzle to get sprayed onto the field, just as a few examples. Planters, you can actually get into seed type applications, so making sure that the pressures and seed lines are okay. That would be one application I could think of there for pressure. I wasn't going to plug this product, but we are coming out with a new radar level sensor that I'll probably do another one of these in a month or two. And super excited. It's a very small, lower cost OEM type radar level. So keep your eyes peeled for that. The reason I mention it at this point is I'm talking about seeds and planters, and this will be the first level product that you can use for bulk solid applications. So, historically, WIKA has had float level and other technologies, but they weren't suitable for bulk solids. So just keep your eyes peeled for WIKA's upcoming radar level sensor. But the MH4, MH4 CAN, this is the complete portfolio for what I would call our traditional mobile working machines sensors. The MH4, what kind of makes this cool is it's a pressure sensor, but you also have the option to add temperature output. So we're constantly in these sensors reading off the backside of the diaphragm for temperature compensation. So we simply added an output for it. So kind of a one sensor solution to get 2 measurements. Pretty neat feature that not a whole lot of people know about. And it also has diagnostics and signal clamping. So in these environments, it's important for the sensor to continually check its health and output when something is going on, either with the sensor or it's noticing something special about your machinery, or even the sensor being used to help keep your machine operating smoothly. So if you just think about signal clamping as an example, if you have a 4 to 20 milliamp output, you can actually clip or clamp that signal at 20 milliamps. That way, if you're lifting a heavy load and the signal's naturally going to go above 20 milliamps and cause your machine to act erratically, you can actually clip or clamp at the 20 milliamps so you maintain smooth operation. So pretty cool feature about it. The MH4 CAN is a CAN Open J1939 variant. So if you're at or working in mobile working machines and you see a requirement or have a requirement for CAN Open or J1939, we have a solution there. And if you're in the hydrogen space at all, we currently have a hydrogen suitable variant. It looks a little bit different today because it's based off the old model, the MH3. So that's why you'll see the black high temp thermoplastic there. But today we offer that for hydrogen. Tomorrow sensor, which you'll see coming mid 2026, it'll look just like, I just repurposed the MH4 photo because we don't have stock marketing photos yet, but that is coming. It will look exactly like the MH4 and the MH4 CAN. However, it will have that suitability for hydrogen and have all the common, again, hydrogen approvals. Those are changing. So today it's EC 79, 2009, which is what we got. And we'll keep up with those as the market changes. Oh gosh, Johnny, I'm sorry, I'm running behind. Okay, let me speed up a little. On the
Oh, you're
process
fine.
side, so
You're fine,
we
Chad.
we covered the industrial applications a bit. We or I introduced myself as the industrial guy, but I do have the hazardous suite products that go into oil and gas applications. So again, any of these are what we consider process. But these specifically, these products are what I call my hazardous suites. And again, the difference is within your application. So whatever class and division that you need specified, we have the transmitters to do it. So again, explosion proof, intrinsically safe, non-incentive. So just ask your sales guy or your account manager. We'll give you guidance based upon what the application and your environment are. That's something that you have to tell us what you're looking for. But we do have these products. The one thing cool about the N10, and I'll try to just select one or two, but the low power is a really cool feature. So a 1 to 5 volt signal used for battery powered installations. So some of these are battery powered out in the field, and you need it to have a low draw, right? So this product has that feature, which is pretty neat, and it also has an Alloy sensor optional. So if you get into some pretty severe applications, the N10 has some neat features. The IS3, again, the intrinsically safe variant, pretty straight up product there. So if you have a class 1 div 1 intrinsically safe, this would be where we turn. And then the most popular of the three is the E10 or the E1X. Again, keep in mind that on the process side, you can get this with a flush variant. So we call it the E1X, but the E10 is the standard Orphis product. Class 1, Div 1, again, all of these are FM. They have all the appropriate US, Canadian approvals. So be confident in that if you're dealing in North American applications, we have what you need from an approval standpoint. Yeah, I guess I'll stop there. We have two different options based upon your installation requirements. So when you specify these, you'll get asked about 2 or 3x, and that I'll take a note. That's actually could be a good separate training in general. Is just a deep dive into E10s, but we do have a PDF available if you're curious or if you have had confusion in the past of what makes the 2x installation versus the 3x installation. That is something that we can take a deeper dive into. Okay, I think I made it just in time. I'm not super tech savvy, but I think if you scan that QR code, you'll get my information if you want to reach out on any specific product questions or application questions. You feel free to do so. But yeah, Johnny, I'm done. I didn't
You
see if we had any questions or
no
anything in
questions,
here.
no
Okay.
questions at this time. So we still have a couple of minutes, guys. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Um, let's see. We have something coming in the chat. Chad, can you get in the chat and look? It's showing measuring ranges. I'm not quite sure. There's no questions. Sorry, is this the temperature detail for the MH4PT? And it's he's got a temperature chart, Chad, in the chat. Can you see that?
I cannot see it, but I can look in the chat and I can reach out to whoever is asking and get you the MH4PT specifications. There is a portion of the MH4 datasheet, so the PT or the optional temperature output is just baked naturally into the MH4 datasheet.
And he's asking, is there a specific data sheet for the MH4PT?
Nope, nope. It is just baked into the MH4 data sheet. Uh, so, oh, it's Greg Hill. Okay, I know Greg. I can
You
reach
know,
out to
Greg?
you separately,
Okay.
Greg.
You don't
Yeah,
see his little
I do
the
now. I
okay,
pulled it up on
perfect.
I pulled it up on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess I could also just stop sharing, and I can just look in the chat here.
And then we do have another question in there too. I'll let you look at the chart first before we go on to the next question.
Yep, we'll have to get details from you separate, but yeah, there's considerations there.
Do you have Greg's email, or do you want me to send that to you?
I have Greg's information. I
Okay,
do not
perfect.
have the question related to altitude. So if you could get that, we can have, well, myself or technical can reach out to get some additional details of the application specific requirements there.
Perfect. All right, I will make sure we get that back to you. Um, all right, well, great, great session, Chad. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We will get back to you via email with your follow-up with your answers to your questions. And just so you know, our next WIKA University is next Friday. That's going to be, let's see, what is that on? That is how to select a pressure gauge, and that will be October the 31st at 11. So be on the lookout for the registration link that should be coming through your email. And yeah, thank you guys very much. I hope you all have a great afternoon and enjoy your weekend. And Chad, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.